Episode 176 of the Volunteer Youth Worker Podcast. Welcome back. This is Jeremy hosting today's conversation. I got to interview Sid from our team all about how you should talk about Christmas with your students. And so we're looking forward to that. Before we get into it, especially if you're listening to this conversation, obviously live, Christmas is around the corner. And then the other thing that's right after Christmas is we are looking forward as an organization to hosting youth worker conferences all across our country of Canada. And we've got 5 locations that we are so excited to be in, and then a wonderful 6th event that we're actually hosting in Ontario. But listen, the big thing with these events is that they happen because of our partnership with a number of our wonderful friends in ministry. And so I want to make sure that you guys knew that one of our partners in this season is the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association. And we've been friends with the Billy Graham team for a very long time. And the cool thing that I love about these folks is that they care so deeply about, and this is obviously from Billy Graham himself, but about people coming to faith in Jesus, that they constantly are trying to find ways to spur on evangelistic efforts wherever they may be across our country of Canada, but even around the world in the US as well. And so we're certainly excited about the partnerships that we have with them. They're going to be at each of our events, and in the future we'll be featuring some of their wonderful projects that they're in the midst of. But honestly, the coolest thing is, as youth workers, as you're on the front lines of ministry with students, you just need to know that there are folks like the team at the Billy Graham Association that are praying for you, that care about the work that you're doing, are here to support the work that you're doing, and we're just so looking forward to them being around, and you get a chance to meet them at our events. We've got the link in the show notes, so if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, you're certainly welcome to jump in on that. We got a group rate, an early bird rate, all of that good stuff. And again, if you are anywhere near Abbotsford, Saskatoon, Winnipeg, Edmonton, or Moncton in the new year, we'd love for you to bring your team and to come hang out with us at our Youth Worker Community Winter Conferences. But for right now, let's jump into today's conversation, the one I got to have with Sid Coop.
Welcome to the Volunteer Youth Worker Podcast. Youth ministries rise and fall on the volunteers. So we are here to encourage and equip you. Join the conversation as we tackle the practical questions you are asking so you can help the next generation know Jesus.
All right, Sid, welcome back to the mic, talking to youth workers here today. As if you're listening to this live, this is like heading into the Christmas season.
Jer.
So this is exciting. We just wrapped, if you're an American Thanksgiving. Canadian Thanksgiving has been done for weeks and weeks and weeks.
And
but now all eyes are on the holidays.
Do you know what this means, Jer? In our home, it means that Jen and I start the war about what kind of Christmas tree we're putting up. So Jen, I've been advocating for the fake Christmas tree that has all the decorations that remain attached to it. So you pull it out of the box, boom, super good to go. And she is adamant that we don't roll that way, which means I have to get a live tree. I have to find the decorations, which I've lost. Like seriously lost in my garage.
You've seen
my garage. You know the truth to this. Yeah. And then I'm also mentally preparing myself, one, that the dog will literally pee on the tree, and I'm going to have to clean it all up over and over again. So, hey, I just think, Jared, this is a moment if the youth worker community could spend some time praying for the Coop home as we head into this time of joy and peace. Once we get past the Christmas tree fiasco, it's going to be good. But the next week or so, this is the tension we're living with. Yeah.
This is tension time. Okay, well, and that's probably true for everybody. Everybody's got their own unique, here's the segue, their own unique experiences at Christmas. And so, hey, youth workers, we want to, we might have another episode where we talk about the actual holidays, which you do over the Christmas break. But right now, where people are starting to talk about Christmas, we want you to have a couple of handles on how you should talk about Christmas with your students, either in the group text, in the group time, small group time, one-on-one with students. How should you actually talk about Christmas? Because, hey, this is a big deal.
Yeah,
and you got an opportunity for you.
This is just one of those moments, Jer, where nobody gets to avoid it. Now, again, we're going to be in some environments where we'll have groups of people who are maybe come from other countries, et cetera, don't celebrate Christmas. I think we should be really aware of that when we're thinking about Christmas. Don't assume that people know anything. And actually, part of, I think, acting with respect and offering dignity to others is to find out what are some of their practices or experiences around this season that are important to them. And I just think it's really great for us to also lean in and be good listeners. But this is an opportunity where we get a chance to really share, what do we know about the Christmas story from a faith position? How does it lead to the gospel? What does it say about Jesus? Like, this is a really beautiful opportunity for us to speak about our faith journey and our relationship with Jesus Christ. So I'm excited about this.
Yeah. Yeah. So just talking to youth workers here, volunteers, how should they talk about Christmas this season?
Yeah, great. So here's the first thing I'm thinking about. Number one, I think this is really important for us to explore with our kids. Hey, what do you actually know about the Christmas story? Like, that's a really great question, and it's non-threatening. Jared, it's funny because over the last couple of years, I've never really thought that question was important. I just assumed everybody knew the Christmas story, and it's not true, actually, not the true Christmas story. And this is a great moment for us to ask those questions and enter into great conversation. And here's the other part of it that's really been resonating with me, Jer. I think bringing our kids, like if your church is doing like a Christmas service or doing a program or something to that effect, again, I think because the biblical narrative around Christmas has been so lost in our culture that we shouldn't assume our kids know or that it's old hat. Rather, this is a great opportunity to expose them to what we as followers of Christ believe about Christmas. And I just think these are more important than ever before. And it actually leads me to this. Like when you're asking, what do you know about the Christmas story? This might be a great moment. I'm going really old school here, Jer, where you take your small group and say, you guys, why don't we volunteer in our church for like Christmas Sunday or like our programs that we're doing? And again, that allows your students to get immersed in the story and really experience it in a deep way and ask great questions. And I'm just saying, don't assume on knowledge. Look for opportunities to engage in experience, and then look to listen to what kids' journey is when it comes to their understanding and engagement in Christmas. So I think it's a great moment and an important moment for us to tell the story of Jesus and his birth. Yeah, I love it.
Okay, so the question then that we should be asking students is just, what do you know about the Christmas story? Youth workers, here's a little reminder. It's good to know a bit about the Christmas story, so you might do a refresher. And more than just the details of like, how many wise men were there? And when were the shepherds? When did they come in? Like the whole point of the Christmas story about Jesus coming and being with us as people. You want to get to the theology of it and help students understand that as I think the starting point.
Man, I love that.
Good. I mean, you could preach on Christmas. Obviously, you've done that before, Sid. But we'll keep moving on. And if as a youth worker, you're like, oh yeah, tell me a little bit more. How do you talk about the actual story of Christmas with students? Hey, we want to hear from you, and maybe we'll do a whole episode on that.
Do that,
and Sid can give his Christmas message.
There it is. Yeah. I love it. Yeah, awesome.
Okay, so ask students, what do you know about the story of Christmas? What's another question that you want to tackle with students?
So for me, we always try to frame Christmas as this really happy, joyful, exciting time. And in many ways it is, and we should be celebratory. We'll talk about it in a minute. But the other reality is that for many of our kids, this is really difficult. And so I don't think we should assume on kids' emotional expectation when it comes to the Christmas season. And so this just creates a really great moment to ask a question that might be something like, hey, what about Christmas increases anxiety for you? And then a follow-up question would be, what about Christmas increases joy and peace for you? And so again, this might be a question that you could ask in your small group as a group together, depending on kind of the level of trust and transparency that your group has. This would be a great question for you to use as a starter if you take your kids out for an eggnog latte. Thank you very much at Starbucks. If you can roll that one up, by the way, you could just include that in like your gifting for the Christmas season because it's going to take a major chunk out of your budget. Please feel free. But it's an opportunity to just kind of open that door with kids and really understand what this experience is for them, because for many kids, this isn't a fun time. This is a reminder that their family is not together. This might be a reminder of times when they didn't like get gifts while their friends did, or didn't experience the things that they were hoping to experience the way that they perceive others are. And again, lots of the anxiety I think can come in terms of what's being posted on social media as kids try to post something that may or may not be actually accurate to what the experience is. And it's difficult for kids to see that. And the other thing that happens is if you ask that question a little bit early, it's going to give you possibly some information that you should be following up as you move towards that Christmas season. The thing for me when I'm asking that question is it really creates a moment for me to help point kids to what should bring peace and joy. not just during this season, but during all seasons. And so it can help us refocus on what really is the meaning of Christmas again, and where is our hope, our joy, and our peace rooted in a season when the other things can be so clearly seen as shallow and not fulfilling. So I would go personal on this question. Again, Jerry, you're going to repeat the question, but what about Christmas increases anxiety, and what about Christmas increases joy and peace? Great question to be asking.
Yeah, that's so good. And asking it early,
Right.
I think, is totally fair. So as people are looking to the actual big weekend, students are going to be processing all those emotions ahead of time. So by helping them early on, I think that's such a win. Okay, so that's kind of, those are two questions, but we'll leave that as
a
point number two.
package. That's your package, like going
package
for
question, yeah.
going for Cokes. That's your package set for that conversation one-on-one. It's gonna be great.
Okay, and then give us. Do you have it? You've got one more, right?
Yes.
So
and Jerry, when we talked about this, we're thinking about moving from like kind of less threatening to maybe you're going to require a little bit more transparency. So the third question that I think is really great for you to ask or explore as a youth leader with your kids is what are the highs and lows of Christmas with your family? And so really this is the context that either creates, I would suggest, the most joy for our kids, or also creates the most anxiety for our kids. And, Joe, when I think about my own experience, up till the end of high school, Christmas was only a great experience for me. I can only remember having like a sense of peace, joy, shared experience, fun, laughter in my home every Christmas. But in grade 12, my dad died very suddenly, and that really changed our home and the experience of Christmas with my nuclear family. All of a sudden, I didn't look forward to Christmas. To be honest with you, all of our traditions changed at that time for us, and Christmas became a little bit more of surviving, really, than it was like thriving and exciting. And to be able to process that with somebody was really important for me. Now, what's been great, of course, is once we had our own family, Jen and I, then that changed again, and we've been able to, like, Christmas is awesome again. And for our boys, it's only a good experience as well, I think, if you'd ask them that. But here's the point. We all have different experiences with Christmas. Some of our kids are going to have really positive, some negative, and much of it is connected to the home. And I think it's really a great moment for us to be able to hear from kids what it is. And that can, again, set us up to know how to support, care, and pray for our kids as we move into this season. So we don't make assumptions, but we create this opportunity to have the conversations. Jer, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I think question 3 is a little bit distinct than question 2. They might bring out some of the same things, so just navigate that as a person asking the questions. But a lot of times students, prompting them with like, hey, peace and joy, and what about Christmas brings that? But then once you get into talking about their families, there's all sorts of things that are happening there. And gosh, so many students, if it's broken homes, if somebody's passed away, they're not going to be there this year. Like, there's a lot that's going with that. And so the upside is you get a chance to preemptively have those conversations, get to know your students a little bit more. And again, all in the context of, this healthy small group, the connection that you've got with them. And so I think it's really worthwhile. Do you want to say something else about it,
just
though?
one last thing from me, Jared. Hey, the best follow-up question, and you've heard us talk about this before, that I'm using these days, and we got it from our friends at Fuller Youth Institute, actually, is the question, it's a statement, tell me more. And so all of these questions we've used are conversation starters in many ways. Like, there's probably a couple of more real surface questions you're going to use before you get in. But this moves you into a deeper space. And I would just encourage you to look for opportunities to use the phrase, tell me more, because you might be surprised at how that opens up another level of transparency and develops another space of intimacy that you can bring the gospel into. That, the embodied gospel that you bring into the lives of these kids can be transforming and changing for them, especially in this season. So I just think, Jer, we want to be present and shepherding in all seasons, but some seasons create unique opportunities for us that we should steward well for the sake of the kingdom, and Christmas is absolutely one of those. And so God bless you guys. What a season this is, man. What a season this is. Love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, we'll be back next week for another episode of the Volunteer Youth Worker Podcast. And until then, if you'd like us to tackle one of your questions or dig in a little bit more on any of this topic, you just send us a note. We've got details there in the show notes. And we'll see you next time for another conversation.